Hi guys, so a lot of my subscribers are also real estate agents who tend to learn from some of the stories and the information that I share, but are also looking at getting into real estate. So I thought I'd give it a quick go, in a short snippet, share my story on how I got into real estate, why I got into real estate, right? Because a lot of people want to come into real estate to attract financial abundance to them. Look, hang around till the end and you'll know more about my journey, okay? My name is Fahd Dawood. I talk about real estate internationally, locally, Dubai as well, your life, my life, and our path to financial bliss. I'm also the author of The Intelligent Real Estate Investor. You can buy it off Amazon. You get an actual hard copy or the ebook. If you want to work with me specifically, do a strategy consultation around real estate or do an opportunity property evaluation, or if you want the VIP package, work with me from A to Z. I do charge a fee for that. You can reach out to me directly. If you've got questions, generals, I wouldn't say specific, because if it's very specific, I don't answer them on YouTube, generally speaking. But if you've got a general question that's going to benefit a lot of other people, ask me in the comment section. I'm happy to reach out and answer it. Okay, so just to give you an idea, my real estate journey started as a real estate consultant back in 2006. So I was in Toronto, Canada. I graduated from one of the best schools in Toronto called the Schulich School of Business at York University. It was a miracle I actually got in there. And then I did kind of graduate, and didn't kind of graduate. I did graduate with a business degree and a minor in political science, you could say that. So I was a marketing and finance kind of major. But back in 2006, so I graduated in 2005, but back in 2006, I was approached by one of my mentors, okay? He was an entrepreneur, a business person, a wheeler, a dealer, somebody who traveled around the world and had investments all over the world. And he approached me and he said, look, Fahd, there's a large fund from the Middle East that's looking to invest in the Canadian market, okay, in Toronto specifically. Why don't you look at the general state of the Canadian real estate market and give me a report as a consultant on how they should enter the market, which kind of properties they would most likely end up buying to refurbish, turn them around, and make a profit on them. I think at the 2006 level, even after the GFC, the 2008 crisis and so on and so forth, the real estate market in Toronto has been pretty good, pretty resilient, because Toronto specifically has a lot of immigrants coming in. But okay, anyways, I digress. So I took up this challenge and I charged a fee for generating this report. I think this was a 40-page report that I ended up doing, but I don't know if I actually did a report that would have ended up making somebody some real money, okay? I do think that I went deep down, did a lot of research on the market, the scenarios, talked and visited brokers, agents, but I didn't have experience in real estate, to tell you the honest truth. I was starting out, and I started out as a consultant, okay? Then I moved on to be an investor, and I'll explain how I became an investor in 2007, 2008, okay? I moved to Dubai, and by 2007, anybody who was in Dubai at that stage was involved in real estate, right? So my first ploy was also, hey, you know what? Okay, so why did I move back to Dubai, generally speaking, was my family was based over here. I didn't want to stay in Canada. I wanted to be in the East for a lot of cultural, religious, business reasons. Just thought that this place would be better, and alhamdulillah, it's been very good, right? Very kind to me. Now, when I moved back in 2007, everybody was involved in real estate. There was no way that I wouldn't be involved in real estate. And I hooked up with my mentor at that time, who was the person, his background, so he was an international consultant as well, and he set up UPS in Canada with a 12-member team. If some of you might know, UPS is the competitor to FedEx, DHL, FedEx, DHL, UPS. I think they're the big ones, right? He is the person who set up UPS in Canada. He was working and running a business in Dubai, and we had a large age gap. Like he was, I think, 20 odd years or 25 years older to me, yet we were on the same frequency level. I've even thanked him in my book that I've written, and he took me under his wings, and then we went on to establish a real estate company, and also we ended up investing in 2 properties. Okay, we ended up investing in 2 properties. One of them we made money, one of them we lost money. Well, at least I made money out of them, right? And so the story went. And then 2008, the global financial crisis hit. We had to close down the real estate brokerage company. The properties went into a serious defaulting situation, but we kind of like scraped and saved as much as we could at that time from those property investments, so we made some money. But notice my journey. I went from being a consultant, not knowing about real estate, and then realizing, hey, you know what, real estate, there's billions of dollars invested in real estate, I should work in real estate, going directly to becoming an investor with my mentor, my partner, and opening a real estate company back in 2008, then closing it down. And then I stuck 2009, 10, 11, 12, almost till 12, I stuck and did as much as I could in real estate, right? So I would offer advisory services. There was one of my friends, we ended up buying a plot of land. Price tanked and we couldn't sell it, except, you know, we sold this plot of land in 2012 in Dubai, and I was helping this person, and then there was a lot of other smaller stuff in real estate that I kept going. But what I ended up doing is I ended up getting a full-time job right here with one of my great mentors, a friend as well. I've thanked him as well in the book. He always taught me how to bring more value as a solution to any kind of problem that you're dealing with. But when I was working with him, unfortunate circumstances, me and him had a very small age gap. So, you know, it was a very friendly, loving, familial relationship. But I think because of the small age gap, we used to clash a lot sometimes and not see eye to eye, even though I still consider him my mentor, my friend, a very dear brother to me. And what I ended up doing is, you should look at one of my other videos which talks about life visioning, strategic visioning. And in 2012, I went and I attended a course called Strategic Visions, which essentially said you should go forth in one direction, burn the boats, go and take the island. There is a famous story about a general. They quote him. His name is actually General Tariq. The Rock of Gibraltar is named after him. His story is such that when he landed on the shores of this island, I believe it was Spain, he essentially burned the boats and told his soldiers, we're going forward to victory or to death. There is no retreat. And when I did that, somebody actually told me there's a Mexican general who did that as well. Or a Spanish general who landed in Mexico did that as well with his soldiers. But essentially speaking, in 2012, I decided for myself that, you know what, it's either full-time real estate only or nothing else, right? It's all or nothing. That's it. I'm going to go full all the way in. One of the books that I would recommend any agent who's looking to get into real estate to definitely read is Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Okay, I'll write it here. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Okay. I would definitely advise you to read this book, because it was this impetus, this thing that essentially told me that, look, you need to go into real estate and it has to be full-time. And so I went from being a consultant in real estate to being an investor in real estate. I went to being an agent / broker. Okay. The reason I did that, because Rich Dad Poor Dad talked about the value of accumulating assets which pay you income. Okay, none of that bullshit passive income garbage. Okay, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about actually accumulate. Well, accumulating sounds greedy, but it's okay to be greedy. That's perfectly fine. But acquiring assets that give you wealth, right? Now, there's 2 assets that I identified at that time. One was knowledge products, so writing books, helping others, and the other was real estate. Now, here's what had happened to me. As a consultant, as I said, I got paid for the report. I don't think I did true justice to that report. right? Because I was green behind the ears. What do you expect? It's like, I know nothing about food, and now you're going to ask me to talk about French cuisine and tell people how to open a French restaurant. I could do the research, but I don't have the experience to back up what I'm going to be telling you. As an investor, we invested in 2 properties, lost money. The global financial crisis, when that came in, that hit the shit on the fan. And now this time, by 2012, and then I was handling properties, plot of land, smaller apartments, executive towers, etc., etc. By 2012, I said, I'm going to buy real estate, but before I buy real estate, I'm going to understand real estate perfectly well. Now, here's something that I would say. This is where I have learned the most amount of information, knowledge, how to leverage that knowledge to benefit. Now, I'm not saying I'm super experienced and I'm the best person that you should talk to when you're investing in real estate, but for myself, I've learned a considerable amount as an agent or a broker. I've learned the most because I've invested, then I ended up investing in another property here as well, but I've ended up investing in properties, but I've learned from a lot of mentors, a lot of other investors who took me under the wing. So I worked on a fund that was $100 million at one time in 2012, 2013. I worked with people who were managing hundreds of millions of dollars in the Dubai market and internationally as well. People who took money out of Dubai, brought it back to Dubai. And I kept learning from all these people to understand how they make money in real estate. What are the golden rules? What are the processes that if you follow, you're going to end up making money? Now, I would say, I'm not going to boast, I would say that I definitely do know more than the average investor. Yes, there are some investors who are sharper than me. I'm on a daily basis learning from them as well. If you're looking to get into real estate as an investor, as an agent, as a broker, you've got to commit to learn and acquire knowledge. However, it is with experience that you're going to be able to leverage that knowledge and truly make a difference to the pockets that you have and the others around you. That's going to be the key difference, right? So there is no substitute for experience. You gotta be around the mentors, the investors, and it costs money to be around that. I had to pay a lot of money because I went from earning a very decent salary in 2012 to earning almost next to nothing in terms of a monthly income as an agent broker. But I learned the most and I enjoyed a lot, right? There were frustrating times, there were difficult times, there was fun times where you wanted to squeeze an investor's neck in the most nicest way possible so that he could just sign quickly. I still remember the last I've ever done, the last deal that I've ever signed, or the latest was I think at 1:30 a.m. where me, the lawyer, and the investor was going back and forth with changes in the contract, and the person who was going to be able to say yes to that had already left. So in the end, I told the lawyer that, because based on that signature of that investor, we were supposed to give him some money, right? But the lawyer was sitting in another room and the investor in the conference room, and me being the go-between them. Every time the lawyer would bring the contract, the investor would look through it and pinpoint a few other clauses that he wanted changed or the words needed to change. Fair enough, he was within his rights to do that. But at 1 a.m. or 1:30 a.m., I told my lawyer, the lawyer who was employed by the company I was working with at that time, I said, look, you know what? This check that we're supposed to give this person, on this last and final draft, I want you to bring the check with you, put it on the table, put the piece of paper in front of him, tell him to sign it, because as soon as he signs it, this check, I think it was $500,000 or 700,000 dirhams or something like that, as a down payment, is his. He can take it home, bank it in the cash it, bank it. And that's what the lawyer did. And that's how we actually closed that meeting and got him to sign. We put the contract in front of him, and put the check on the table, and the lawyer was just twiddling with the check, and he said, Mr. So-and-so, right after you sign this, I can release this check to you. And that's what we did. So It's fun times, but you need to really get in the game full time. There is no looking back, and then make a conscious decision that you're going to learn, acquire the knowledge, and then leverage that knowledge to gain maximum benefit for yourself. I'm not going to be unselfish and say for your investor and buyer and seller. Yes, we're working for them, right? We are working to make sure we create a win-win for the buyer, the seller, and for yourself. But you yourself as an agent are working first for yourself, and then making sure that everybody's on the same page, chasing a win-win. Ciao for now. Bye.